Imagine sitting down at your computer today, March 2026, and starting a daily project that, for an absolute fact, will not be finished until the year 2030.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Right. You are staring down the barrel of a 4-year grueling daily grind. And that is just to finish the final leg of a journey you actually started years ago.
It's an incredible endurance test,
It
truly.
really is. So, today we are taking a deep dive into the mind of a single independent creator who is currently in the middle of writing 1,500 unique musical compositions entirely from scratch.
While the subject matter revolves around the saxophone, you do not need to be a musician to pull something profound out of this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right. This deep dive is fundamentally about how one dedicated person can build an entire global publishing ecosystem right from their living room.
Oh.
They're basically looking at a masterclass in modern knowledge distribution.
Yeah, the sources that we are working from today are just fascinating. We have a detailed behind-the-scenes text reflection written by this creator outlining the specific mechanics of this project.
Which they call the 1500 Saxophone Etudes, right?
Exactly. And alongside that text, we also have this really cool promotional artwork for a companion project, which is called the Saxophone Knowledge and Mastery Podcast.
It's just a massive web of content.
Okay, let's unpack this. Writing 1,500 individual pieces of music. To put that sheer volume of output into perspective for you, it is basically the equivalent of a single author deciding to write a comprehensive, multi-volume technical encyclopedia.
Well,
All without a single editor, researcher, or, institutional backer. Just one person.
and the scope of the work is actually what forces the creator to adopt such unconventional methods. I mean, when you are operating at that scale, traditional publishing models just completely break down.
They just don't.
Right. And the timeline they have laid out is a perfect example of this. So Volume 1, which was titled 500 Dynamic Daily Etudes, was published back on November 14, 2023.
Okay.
Then Volume 2, Advanced Rhythmic Etudes, followed on March 3, 2025.
So both of those are currently out there. They're available.
Yes. But Volume 3 is where the architecture of the whole project changes drastically.
Yeah, the text notes that volumes 1 and 2 contained pieces that were variations or, heavily based on other etudes within the books.
Right, they were building on each other.
Exactly. But volume 3, however, will feature completely unique, distinct compositions for every single entry.
Which is a huge jump in complexity.
It is. And because that jump is so steep, the creator is projecting that the final book won't actually be ready until somewhere between 2029 and 2030.
Which brings up a really fascinating logistical hurdle.
Oh, the audience engagement problem?
Exactly. If you are a creator with a 7-year roadmap, how do you keep your audience engaged? Like, how do you maintain any momentum when the final product is half a decade away?
Well, that is exactly where I want to push back on the logic of traditional release schedules. Because, like we said, the creator explicitly states that today is March 20, 2026.
Right.
Volume 3 is years away from being an actual physical book. Yet they are actively uploading the Volume 3 etudes to YouTube right now.
Yeah, they are.
So why release the final, most advanced tier of your curriculum before the collection is even finished? Isn't that kind of like spoiling the end of a movie?
What's fascinating here is a specific workflow the creator developed called the triad mode strategy.
Triad mode, okay.
Yeah. It is a brilliant solution to the problem of audience progression. Think about it. If they were to upload videos for Volume 1, wait 2 years, upload Volume 2, and then wait another 4 years for Volume 3.
An advanced student would be waiting a decade just to hear the curriculum that actually applies to them.
Exactly. It's completely impractical.
It's like opening a massive 3-story gym, but instead of letting people use all the equipment, you force everyone to stay on the ground floor for a year.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. The advanced bodybuilders are just standing around waiting for you to unlock the heavyweights upstairs while the beginners are perfectly happy on the treadmills.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. So instead of building the floors sequentially, the creator is uploading trios of etudes to YouTube simultaneously.
Ah, the triads.
Right. A single triad consists of Etude 1 from the beginner volume, Etude 501 from the intermediate volume, and Etude 1001 from the advanced volume.
And they are all pushed out to the world on the exact same day.
Yes. You basically unlock a piece of all 3 floors at once.
That's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
And the creator gives us the exact snapshot of this progress as of today. So currently, Etudes 1 through 30, 501 through 517, and 1001 through 129 are live.
It's a little bit messy right now, though.
Yeah, it is. They are actively playing catch-up with the writing and uploading.
Well, the creative process is rarely perfectly synchronized when you're right in the middle of the marathon. you know.
Fair point.
But the stated immediate goal is to upload 517 through 530, and then finish writing and uploading 1030.
And once they hit that specific milestone, everything just snaps into perfect alignment.
Right into that triad mode.
Exactly. From that day forward, the rhythm is locked in. The process will literally be they write Etude 131, then immediately upload Etude 31, Etude 531, and Etude 1 on 31 to YouTube.
All in one batch.
Yep. Then wash, rinse, repeat every single day until all 1,500 are documented.
And, the choice of YouTube as the primary distribution channel for the audio is not an accident either.
Oh, really? Why YouTube specifically?
Well, they are capturing high-fidelity audio directly from their notation software and pushing it to YouTube not just for visibility, but because YouTube has an adjustable playback speed feature.
Oh, right. The little gear icon where you can slow things down.
Exactly. That seemingly simple piece of interface design is actually the linchpin of the entire pedagogical framework this creator has built.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because this project is not just a stack of sheet music, it is an entire, accessibility ecosystem.
It really is.
The final physical books are on Amazon, sure, but the creator is also taking the raw open source MuseScore files, the actual .mscz files, and hosting them for free on GitHub.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and downloadable scores go to musescore.com, and eventually they're launching a Patreon to house the direct MP3 audio files.
We should probably pause on that detail for a moment, because hosting sheet music on GitHub is highly unusual.
Yeah, GitHub is mostly for coders, right?
Exactly. It's a platform designed for software developers to manage code versions. By placing the raw notation files there, the creator is treating music like open source software.
Oh.
They're essentially inviting anyone in the world to download the source code of the music, transpose it for different instruments, alter the tempos, or even remix the harmonies. It is an open source philosophy applied directly to fine arts.
That shifts the entire paradigm of what a music book is supposed to be. I mean, it goes from a static read-only document to a living interactive file.
Absolutely.
And that interactivity feeds directly into the strict 5-step practice method the creator demands from their students.
The 50, 75, 100 method.
Yes. So step 1, acquire the score. Step 2, load up the audio on YouTube. Step 3, listen to the etude multiple times at exactly 50% tempo. Right. Step 4, attempt to sight read the etude at 50% tempo while simultaneously listening to the audio, mimicking it as closely as possible. And finally, step 5, master the piece at 50%, then repeat the entire process at 75% and finally 100% tempo.
It's a very rigorous system.
It is. And I have to admit, as someone who took music lessons growing up, that 4th step really throws me.
The sight reading part.
Yeah, sight reading while the audio is playing in your ear. Traditional teachers would call that cheating.
They probably would, yeah.
Doesn't that completely defeat the purpose of learning to read music independently? I mean, you are basically giving the student the answer key while they are trying to take the test.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this approach is actually a calculated rebellion against centuries of traditional music pedagogy.
A rebellion. How so?
Historically, sight reading is taught as a cold decoding exercise. A student looks at a black dot on a page, computes its mathematical value and pitch, translates that to a specific physical fingering, and then just hopes the resulting sound is correct.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Right. It is a highly analytical, computational process, and for most students, it is incredibly stressful.
Oh, totally. Because all your mental bandwidth is being spent just trying to survive the next measure.
Exactly.
There is no room left to think about phrasing or dynamics or the actual emotion of the music. It's just survival mode.
Precisely. So what this creator is doing by forcing the student to listen at 50% tempo first and then play along with the high-fidelity audio is removing the cognitive load of raw decoding.
Oh, I see.
The student isn't guessing what the rhythm should sound like. They are hearing it perfectly executed by the software.
So the goal isn't computation at all. The goal is deep neurological mimicry.
That's a great way to put it. The ear and the fingers are being trained simultaneously.
Right.
By slowing the playback down to half speed, the brain actually has the luxury of time to internalize the complex harmonies, the specific articulations, and those subtle dynamic shifts.
It changes everything.
It really does. The learning mechanism changes from figuring out what note to play to absorbing how the note should sound in its perfect form.
It takes the ego entirely out of the learning process. You are telling the student, do not try to be a hero. Do not try to play this at full speed and stumble through it.
Right.
Slow down, listen to the ideal version, and just mirror it.
I would actually ask you the listener, to consider how this applies to your own discipline.
Oh, that's a good point.
When you are trying to master a complex new skill, whether that is a new programming language, a public speaking technique, or a physical sport, how often do you try to execute it at 100% speed right out of the gate?
Almost always. It's human nature.
Exactly. We naturally want to perform at the pace of an expert. But what if you intentionally stripped away the pressure of real-time execution?
Just slow it down.
Yeah. Slowing down to internalize the fundamentals deeply through mimicry rather than computation. That is a framework for mastery that scales far beyond the saxophone.
It requires an immense amount of patience from the student, though.
It does.
But when you look at the sheer infrastructure required to facilitate that patience, I mean, managing open source repositories on GitHub, updating scores on MuseScore.com, formatting physical manuscripts for Amazon, rendering high-fidelity audio across multiple tempos.
And running a synchronized YouTube channel on top of it all.
Right. It borders on the absurd for one person. Managing those files daily sounds like a full-time job for a dedicated IT department and a publishing team.
And that is where the technological architecture humming beneath the surface of this project is just as revolutionary as the pedagogical theory.
This is where things get really sci-fi.
Yeah, this is where the story shifts from musical endurance to the extreme leverage provided by modern digital tools.
So the text provides a detailed inventory of the software the self-taught creator uses, and it reads like a manifesto for free software.
It really does.
First, they have completely bypassed commercial operating systems like Windows or Mac OS. Their entire digital environment is built on pop.os GNU Linux.
Very niche.
Yeah. And they use MuseScore for composing the music and LibreOffice Writer for drafting all the accompanying text.
Okay.
For creating and editing visual assets, they rely on GIMP, the UNU image manipulation program. To capture the audio and video for the daily YouTube uploads, they run OBS Studio. And to distribute the final physical product, they route everything through Kindle Direct Publishing.
Every single piece of software you just named is free.
Completely free.
But historically, stringing together a pipeline of disparate open source tools like that required a deep, deep background in computer science.
Oh yeah, you'd be pulling your hair out.
You would spend hours trawling through obscure forums, trying to figure out why your audio capture software wasn't communicating with your Linux distribution.
And that friction is exactly why most people just pay for expensive closed ecosystem software. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the creator details a specific technical challenge that highlights how they bypass that friction. So when you have 1,500 individual notation files, you can't just drag and drop them into a standard PDF reader to make a book.
No, it would take weeks.
Right, so the creator uses command line tools like PDF Unite and PDF Arranger to batch process the files. They can compile an entire volume with a single keystroke.
That's powerful.
But again, you have to know the specific Linux syntax to make that work.
Which is where the introduction of Google Gemini AI completely changes the paradigm.
Yes, the AI assistant.
The creator explicitly credits Gemini as their tutor and resident Linux expert. The AI is literally writing the bash scripts, teaching the creator the command line syntax, and formatting the markdown code for the GitHub pages.
The creator isn't going back to school to learn how to code. They are using AI to manage the technical execution. The AI turns the musician into an IT manager.
That is the crucial insight here. The AI bridges the gap between the creative intent and the technical execution.
It's incredible.
It allows a person whose primary expertise is writing saxophone etudes to operate a highly complex, automated Linux environment without hitting a wall of technical frustration.
And Gemini is just the administrative side of their AI toolkit. They are also utilizing Google's Notebook LM for content generation.
Oh, right. The podcasts.
Yeah, and we have visual proof of how sophisticated this has become. The source material includes promotional artwork for the Saxophone Knowledge and Mastery podcast.
The visual itself is really striking, isn't it?
It is. It depicts this dimly lit, highly professional stage setting. 2 brass saxophones are resting on stands, flanking a vintage, broadcast-style studio microphone.
Very moody.
Yeah. The background is framed by heavy, warm acoustic curtains, with a drum kit sitting slightly out of focus in the shadows.
It communicates high-end production value immediately.
Exactly. But the text running across the center of this image is what reveals the magic trick. It reads, Produced using NotebookLM, Shotcut, GIMP, and pop.osg in Linux.
This is an extraordinary application of NotebookLM. For those unfamiliar, NotebookLM doesn't just generate text. It can actually synthesize uploaded source material into conversational dynamic audio.
It is literal text-to-multimedia alchemy. The creator is taking their written reflections, feeding them into the AI, and the AI is generating a professional-sounding dual-host podcast discussing the intricacies of the music.
It's just wild.
And then they pair that generated audio with an open-source video editor called Shotcut to produce the final companion media. The image even highlights a specific episode titled, "I'm slowly putting 1,500 Saxophone Etudes on YouTube."
This raises an important question about the current reality of the creator economy.
What do you mean?
Look at the stack we have outlined today. A Linux operating system, MuseScore, GIMP, OBS, Shotcut, command line PDF compilers, all managed and amplified by Gemini and NotebookLM.
Yeah.
The financial barrier to entry for global publishing, software distribution, and multimedia production has functionally evaporated.
It's completely gone. If you attempted to build this exact infrastructure 10 years ago, the capital required would have stopped you in your tracks.
Oh, absolutely.
You would need to rent physical studio time, hire an audio engineer to record the high-fidelity playback, pay a graphic designer for the book covers.
Hire a web developer to manage the file distribution.
Exactly. Now, the entire apparatus is available for the cost of a standard computer and an internet connection.
The tools have removed the friction of capital and technical expertise. However, and this is a big however, they do not remove the requirement for extreme discipline.
Oh, that's for sure.
You can automate the formatting of a PDF, and you can synthesize a podcast about your work, but the AI cannot compose the actual etudes for you.
No, it can't.
The human being still has to sit in the chair every single day and write the 1,500 pieces of music.
The tools amplify the effort, but they don't replace the soul of the project.
Well said.
So what does this all mean? When we look at all these moving parts, this deep dive reveals a blueprint that extends far beyond saxophone instruction.
It really does.
It is a study in long-term psychological endurance, planning a daily output in 2023 that you know will not culminate until 2030. It is a radical rethinking of pedagogy, proving that the 50-75-100 method of slow neurological mimicry is often superior to the stress of real-time computational decoding.
And it serves as undeniable proof that the combination of open-source software and AI management has unlocked an entirely new tier of individual capability.
You know, the creator actually includes a direct note to their readers in the text, and it feels appropriate to pass that message directly on to you listening right now.
I love that part.
They emphasize that if you are currently hesitating to start a massive project of your own, whether that is writing a book, building a curriculum, or launching a business, we live in an unprecedented era of leverage.
Yeah, never been a better time.
The tools to build your vision exist today, and they are accessible to anyone willing to learn how to manage them. You just have to make the decision to sit down and begin.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on the sheer scale of what we've discussed today.
Okay.
If one single individual operating out of their living room can leverage open source software and AI to write, format, publish, distribute, and generate multimedia companion audio for a comprehensive 1,500-piece curriculum.
Yeah.
What happens when this solo symphony model is applied to every other academic discipline?
Wow.
Are we crossing a threshold where the most dynamic, comprehensive textbooks and educational ecosystems in the world will no longer originate from heavily funded, massive institutions, but from fiercely passionate, AI-assisted individuals quietly assembling the universe, one page at a time?
It fundamentally changes who gets to be an authority. You don't need a building full of scholars anymore. You just need the vision, the discipline, and the right tools.